Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, and we are going to talk about some very interesting things, as always. So, Bitcoin having a pullback. The big question is this cycle copying? Is it repeating the other cycles? Is it repeating a specific cycle? And we are going to discuss this in this video. As always, we're talking about other stuff like altcoins, Ecomi, Veve, and many things more. Stay tuned after the intro. So, good morning to every one of you. How are you doing, guys? I want to use this to introduce a new member. If you look up about my above my live stream live cam picture, you can see Jonas has just joined the fam. I have given him the carnage, but Jonas, let me know if you want something else as your Rare Hodler logo. Anyways, you see here all the Rare Hodler fam in the house, and if you want to become a channel member or Rare Hodler here on the screen, then you have to become a channel member. You can get access to the Telegram group where we are talking in. That is it, guys. Make sure to smash up the like button, and we see here MVE is here, GM micro pump of Omi. Yes, very interesting. And we see also Trucking Hank and Felipe B here. Good morning, you guys. How are you doing? So, but let's get right into it. And actually, I will start with BTC because we have a nice little correction going on for BTC, a pullback, so to say, after all this way up that has gone pretty deep to 40,000 from 44,000, so almost 10%. I mean, if we measure this pullback, there it is, 9.02% pullback. Not unexpected, although, I mean, we have talked yesterday in the portfolio stream about a possible continuation out of this, and that this actually looked like a good flag, but it corrected back, and now something new is unfolding. We will see. But I think this was expected. That this shows something very important. If we are looking at the altcoin market, we can see that every altcoin corrected at least in the same percentage. And since we're down now only 4% here, everything has been bought up on Bitcoin here already. We're still down double digits on many altcoins. So that is what I meant when I said have dry powder ready, because altcoins are going correct super hard if Bitcoin corrects. And this could be only the beginning of a Bitcoin correction, or it could only be a short-term correction on the way up. We are not sure quite yet, because here we see buyers are already stepping in at this level above 40,000, and so we don't know if we are starting our corrective trend here right now. That is to see. Okay, so what's important this week, and good morning Omicron. What's important this week is that we have a lot of things that can shake the market. A lot of data coming up that can shake the market. Yeah, Agent Paul is out for for the good stuff, and we are starting tomorrow with CPI data. So we'll see if inflation is behaving. We'll get PPI right after that, and then also the next Fed decision, if we are going to cut rates, or if we are going to maintain. If we hike, we get that on Wednesday. So I think we'll, based on what we see here on Tuesday, we're going to talk tomorrow about what's going to happen here. but that is interesting. We get retail sales, excuse me, jobless claims, so everything in one week before the year's end, basically. So it will set the tone for the next year also. Yeah, this is all pretty important data. So this whole week is going to get, but until Wednesday, getting some very important data, right? So be prepared for that, because that usually can cause some volatility in the markets. Then we also are coming really close to our Bitcoin spot ETF approval. So Fidelity and SEC meet to discuss spot Bitcoin ETF application. The United States SEC and Fidelity met to discuss Fidelity's Wise Origin Bitcoin Trust application, and they are not the only one. So we're really coming close to that point where we are saying the SEC could approve all of those spot ETFs. Yeah, we see here, according to the filing published on December 7, two CBO exchange representatives, 6 SEC personnel and 9 Fidelity personnel met to discuss the working of the Wise Origin Bitcoin Trust. So yeah, we see here what rule that is and so on. So overall, it's now 13 ETFs that are about to be approved, and that is when, yeah, basically really the institutions are in Bitcoin then. So let's see. Yeah, maybe let's introduce that next section here with a quote from Satoshi Nakamoto. Lost coins can never be recovered since the effective circulation is reduced. All the remaining coins are worth slightly more. It's the opposite of when a government prints money, and that is what it's all about, right, in these times. Because the governments have either printed their currency into oblivion, like in Argentina, like in Turkey, and in many other countries, like in Venezuela, or they are still stealing a bigger share of purchasing power by occasionally turning on the money printer, like in most of the Western world countries. And yeah, Satoshi said this in December 10th, 2009. Unfortunately, I didn't get the message then, but I did now. And so this is what it's all about with these ETFs. They know that this can't be stopped anymore, so they want to profit off of it as much as they can. And here we see the effect of that. So let me explain. So stick with me. I know a lot of lines that look similar, but let me explain. Adding Bitcoin has bolstered the historical returns of a 60-40 portfolio. So many people are suggesting the 60-40 portfolio with equities and bonds, right? So the standard portfolio is the light blue line. And then you have, for example, you see here, the light blue line is the returns if you're in the 60-40 portfolio, 60 equities and 40% bonds, right? And then you see here green is with 0.5% of Bitcoin and slightly better performing, right? Then you have the dark blue one with 1% Bitcoin, and then you have the pink one with the same portfolio allocation, slightly different, 58.5 equities, 38.5 bonds, and only 3% Bitcoin. So even if you are like the most conservative investor, you would have outperformed hard this entire time, right? Only these, even if you purchased like in these quantities all the time, you would be looking like this in comparison to the other parts. So it's good if you think that this continues to have a fraction of Bitcoin as well, right? That's why I use Bitcoin in this portfolio, in my portfolio as well. Now let's look at similarities. So I said it many times before that it seems that we are mimicking the cycle of 2016 so far. not the last bull cycle, but the one of 2016. And we see that when we're coming closer to the halving, that at some point we're topping out, right? At some point we have a little top out, and then we're going into a retracement. And you see here, this is a weekly chart. You see here that retracement could have just begun. It doesn't have to be, but it could have just begun. Should have gone up to 45 to 48,000 according to this though. But you see here that actually maybe we are coming closer to the halving here, a little bit more up, and then correcting throughout the halving, and even correcting after the halving. And I think there is a convincing factor why this could be, and that is because altcoins were not so much around in 2016, right? There were not many altcoins, and everything was still about Bitcoin. And now, because of the Bitcoin spot ETFs, also everything is about Bitcoin. So the strongest narrative that there is about Bitcoin at the moment. 13 spot ETFs, the whole liquidity thing, inflation in many parts of the world, and so on. So the narrative is really about Bitcoin, like it was in 2016. And maybe that's the reason why we're looking more like this cycle. I mean, you see this trend line down here, you see this trend line here. It got broken, you're curling up. It's somewhat similar. We do not have really reasons to believe that there's something coming in like a black swan right before the halving that could make us mimic the other cycle. So yeah, and then diminishing returns is also something that we need to talk about. So James Van Straten says here on Twitter, why I think diminishing returns will end this cycle. The current or the ongoing cycle is the one in black here, down here, right? That's the ongoing cycle. If you and we're not having Genesis cycle in, right? So basically it says, since the cycle all-time high 2021 and cycle low November 2022, this is currently the second best performing cycle for Bitcoin. So we see this here, and this is somewhat true, right? So I mean, it's not by far, but it's better performing at the moment than the green one, which is the 2018 to 22 cycle, and it's also better performing than the 2015 to 18 cycle, which we are comparing to. According though, if we would be following those two cycles, we would be we would be going up a little bit more and then coming down or going sideways for the next months until the halving. Now, if we though would follow the 2011 to 15 cycle, then we should be going up from here only, right? So it's really interesting to see, and the diminishing return factor could be out. If you're looking at from this perspective or this cycle part, you also see that right now it's outperforming by a little bit the other ones at this moment. But this could be also just because the anticipation of the Bitcoin spot ETFs, right? I mean, if they are getting priced in right now, we could be factoring in a little bit of the rally that is supposed to come after the halving. Okay, another one. The current rally over 0.5 standard deviations from the short-term hold-up cost basis is comparable to other pre-halving rallies marked below. So that is where we're coming in. Here we see it on the side of my picture. This is our current rally. Here we have the short-term holder cost basis, and we see that every time pre-halving we have a peak out of it. So this is really happening every time, and now it's happening again. So here we see it. Here we have the peak out of it. Here we have the peak out of it. Here we have a peak out of it very early. So we had it very early, and this time this part where we had it so early, it didn't peak out, but instead we have it here where it was in the cycles before. It's another argument that we are mimicking these cycles here and not the one with the black swan. So another argument here also would be that this peak out could be going on for a little bit more, so technically there could be a little bit more upside for Bitcoin. Next and last chart here is Supercycle, or the argument of Riggs here says, Supercycle began a year ago at 15,000. Supply shock is near. 9 million per coin within 24 months. So that is like the most bullish price target that I have ever seen on Twitter until now. But we should listen to everything, right? So this looks a little bit like stock to flow, but extended. And it says that this model, or this price model of this guy, says that our fair valuation would be already at, I don't know, a couple of, what is that, like 500,000 or so. And then that halving rally should get us up, I don't know where. But we also see that this rally here completely failed to get to the levels that this model suggests. So yeah, you could argue that 9 million is a little bit over the top, right? But let's listen to it anyway. So you see here, realistically, there is a 10 quadrillion plus of global wealth. So just 5% is 50 trillion divided by 5 million available BTC equals $10 million per coin. I don't know how he comes to 10 million, 5 million available BTC that equals $10, and also I don't know how he comes to 5% adoption rate worldwide. So that is the most bullish target I've ever seen, but it shows in which direction it can go. So if you just lower these numbers a little bit to 0.5 worldwide liquidity and may increase the coins, you can reach a target of 300,000 Bitcoin or so in this cycle. Now let's talk about one coin that is in fact catching up right now and that has been lagging behind quite a little bit, and that is Cardano. Cardano's impressive growth, 79.7 million transactions, 1,307 projects built on top of it, and 9.1 million native tokens. So basically Cardano released the development report right now, and that made actually some 20% gains for Cardano possible. So the coin finally moved. The Cardano fam is a little bit different to the Ecomi fam in the sense that there was a lot of complaints about Cardano being delayed too much and so on. So it's interesting to see now there is some development coming. The development team successfully implemented the initial version of Conway conformance testing, marking a milestone in the platform's commitment to robust and reliable system performance. In preparation for future upgrades, the team is gearing up for the latest 1.8 release, indicating a continued evolution of the network capabilities. So looks good, looks great to see Cardano doing well. I have a little bit of Cardano in my portfolio, not too much, but enough. Oh, by the way, I didn't have the chat in here. There you go. Sorry about that. So, and then actually we have one more of these predictions. One more bull prediction here. Actually, it's not. Is it so bullish? It's going to 120,000. So that's actually pretty realistic price target here for Bitcoin, right? If you extend the same behavior into the cycles. So this is just repeating the same structure, and that is what the stream is all about. Like Are we repeating the same structure, right? And if we are looking at it, if we are looking at it, it is. Until now, it is. We are 3 out of 3 or 4 out of 4, if you, however you want to see it, and we're repeating the same structure. Now, for the pullback, if this pullback was to continue, then we have talked about this. Then the Bitcoin price should be coming back more because we did not close the CME gap yet. Yeah, so this is why we have a price target at approximately 39,000 something, but we didn't get there quite yet. So I could imagine that we get a little bit more downside. So this is the Bitcoin futures, and we have the CME gap open at this price level, which is why we are anticipating the price coming down to, actually that is coming down to yeah, something like this. Yes, 39,800, 39,900 or so. Yeah, something like this. But we are anticipating the price to come down to these levels because of that CME gap before we either continue or before we are starting the next wave of the correction. We don't know how deep we can go. This also depends on the stuff that is coming out in the next second. So the levels that I would anticipate this corrective move go to is, so now we are down 5%. We have come down 9%. I think we should be going down a total of at least 11%. What would be super realistic would be 15%. Also okay would be 22%, and in the worst case we would correct to this level here, which would be a 30% drawdown over time. And I don't see a problem if we bounce on this. So we also see this trend line coming in here, and this would be latestly our support on top of this trend line. So there's a lot of support levels to watch, and these are all levels when they are hit where I would do some DCAing. Yeah, that is my plan. On the other hand, let's look at USDT dominance first. That is exactly, so now let me just get back into the weekly. Okay, so now this is exactly what we have talked about yesterday and the days before, this is what we have talked about yesterday. So that is the only time that I've talked. The other time is that I have mentioned this in the Rare Hodler group. I said, if we are going to bounce here, yeah, what we see is bounce, we get also corrective moves. We have been at this crucial confluence level here for USDT dominance. What is USDT dominance? It's basically the share that US Tether, the Tether stablecoin, takes up in the market. So that means if it falls, people are allocating Tether into crypto. If it bounces or if it comes up, people are taking profits. So we knew since at least yesterday, but also a little bit before that, there was quite a good possibility for us to get the pullback here based on this resistance. And I said, if we were to break this, then we are going to see a continued big rally out of it. But we didn't. We bounced here. And the question is now, how long and how hard are we going to bounce off of this level? And the more we are bouncing, the more this means that there's profit taking going on. So you see here really that the Tether dominance has gone out of this pattern, has found new support here, and now we need to see what really happens. But it could be the end of a big Bitcoin rally. It could also be just a little bit of pullback before we continue to allocate money. It is not unlikely that we continue to allocate money, even though that many bears are screaming for very low prices now. But it's not unrealistic that we continue an allocation here because of the Bitcoin spot ETF. So the more that there is news coming out, the more that people are getting excited and allocating into coins. There will be an exhaustive phase, in my opinion, when this goes sideways, people allocate money, take profits, and so on. Also in the altcoins, where people get frustrated when they bought altcoins at very high levels, and then on a further bounce here, altcoins are seeing 20 or 30 or 40% drawdowns, which could be happening, which is why we need to have money on the sidelines just a little bit to be able to take advantage of such pullbacks. Smash up the like button, by the way, guys. We have 15 people in here, so we really want the likes now to get the stream out a little bit more. And by the way, guys, I have to leave early today, so just so you know, I do not have too much time, which is why I'm flying a little bit through this. Overall, overall Bitcoin, okay, so we don't have Bitcoin dominance, but we have the altcoins. Let's see how the altcoins behaved here. Because I suspect something. Yeah, so that is exactly what we did not want to see, but we did, and that is that there was no real, this was a fake out, and that is also something we anticipated could be happening, where I said we have to wait for this candle to really close and retest above to call for a big altcoin season, because it's not happening right at the moment. At least what we could see is that this weekly candle is coming up and actually closes also above this line, and then we would have our perfect retest. But so far we fell back into it, and now we will see what's happening. So altcoins, it's all a wait and see, in my opinion, at the present moment. What you're seeing here, just so you can place this in your head, is a total 3, the entire altcoin space minus Bitcoin, Ethereum. So, or the entire crypto space minus Bitcoin, Ethereum equals all the altcoins. You see it here, excluding BTC and ETH and excluding stablecoins. So that is what this is all about. And quite frankly, we have been overbought. So no big deal that we have a retracement here. So if you are completely out of cash right now, there could be an argument to hold still until the pullback is harder, or if there's more upside and so on. So at some point there will be a bigger pullback. So and then that would be time to allocate cash. Not financial advice, by the way. I don't know if that means anything, but no, not financial advice at all. Then let's get to the Ecomi chart. Let's talk about Ecomi. So Ecomi had seen a little bit of upside on the week. I mean, we see it here, and I've brought in a little bit of a new trend line, because we see it here on the weekly, or maybe we see it better on the daily. So we have, if we draw this trend line in here, we see that we are bouncing off of it quite a bit now, and we are in an uptrend since we've bottomed. Basically since we've bottomed. Actually from this base forming, we are in an uptrend. Technically you could draw this further in here. So technically you could say that we're in an uptrend since May 2023, which is good, right? So we really now have a trend line with a lot of confluence that we want to hold. And we have wicked up for Ecomi quite a bit. So here we see it. We've wicked up. So look at this, which I didn't expect, to be honest. And this is even a higher high in here. So we have started a new uptrend, and we will see now how this goes. Actually, okay. We see it here. So we broke this little overhead resistance, and we are now trying to get through this bigger trend resistance here. So this doesn't mean that we cannot turn around and start to accumulate more in this range, but we also see that we have a quite strong or stronger volume here than we had before. Look at this. Even here in this rally, we didn't have the volume that we have right now. So volume is gearing up a little bit, which is good for Ecomi. Yeah, something is brewing, I think, and as we said before, around here we should have our breakout at the latest, which is the Crypto XR event. That's a little arrow, right? So I don't know if it will be a big nothing burger, but I can imagine that people will anticipate price going up from that. Now we see here that the price is curving up a little bit, and we will see how it develops. But there's not too much to see right now, other than that this trend line is active. Good. Let's look at Veve, because Veve is ultimately, there's something from Veve, a reply from Veve from a couple of days ago. I don't know if I can find it still, which was very interesting, because they were posting that Ecomi is not dead. So let's see if we have it here in the reply somewhere. There it is. Not here. The article is correct. Date of the X-Men. It's not that. What the? Why? Here. Please send us any signs Omi isn't dead. It was on the December 7th, and then they said Omi isn't dead. Yeah, that is it. So 12,000 people saw this. A lot of people retweeted that. So I think only that little thing where they said that could have had an impact on the market, right? Only that thing, and that was on the 7th, so before the weekend. And let's see. So yeah, and prices were coiling up already before, but yeah, here we see it went up even better from the 7th. So that could be one of the reasons. I don't know if you have seen that tweet, but if not, now you know. 20 people here, guys. Thanks for the like. Smash the like if you haven't yet. Let's get some good likes under this live stream if you enjoy it. But I will have to go in a second. So we had the Marvel Mighties. I got a 210 of the Falcon. No, that's not the Falcon, by the way, but of the Falcon of the Mighties. And I'm okay with that. Maybe I don't know if I will keep this mint number if I make a Venomized one out of it. Then tomorrow, these 12 days of Veve starts. If you enter into this and you gave permission to this app to use X, then make sure to go into the settings of the account and revoke those permissions. Then you can enter. That is important. But this 12 days of Veve giveaway, 10 winners every day, so not too bad of a chance, I guess. And yeah, but that's basically it. We saw that the Lamborghini drop sold out, which is good. That was a $200,000 dollar drop that sold out. I think the Marvel Mighties are next to sold out, which I'm not quite sure if they are. Let me see already. So yesterday there were 1,000 of them. So I'm always looking when I look at if something sells out. There were no, it didn't sell out yet. But if you look at the Falcon, for example, there is 884 left. So concluding from that, roughly 30% is still left over of the Marvel Mighties drop. That's also not too bad, because that had a little bit more additions. Because there were so many characters, and all of them were like between 1,000 and 2,000. So there must have been a total of almost 10,000 additions. Yeah, we're getting this comic, this Avengers comic, on the 14th, and there are other drops lined up. I think, at least. Let me see. I'm always watching on. Sometimes I see on the phone. It's easier for me. Yeah, we're getting today no, tomorrow we are getting the next comic drop, the Sentry. Then on the 14th, the Avengers comic. Then we get the James Bond boat. And then on the 15th, the Return of the Jedi. And I don't know what they will announce. December 17th, Veve drop, watch this space. I don't know exactly what that is because it doesn't load. But I think it's a video. I don't know why the stuff is not loading. But overall, there is more going on with the drops, and Veve does advertisement. So I think in the next stream tomorrow, we're looking a little bit more at Veve statistics, how user growth is performing. We can look at Stacker. But for today, unfortunately, I already have to leave. I said it before that I have to get the stream out a little bit earlier, go out of the stream a little bit earlier. So guys, if you enjoyed this quick update, make sure to smash up the like button. Don't get frustrated on this current pullback. See it as an opportunity to allocate something into the altcoins that you like. If you already want to allocate something, there could be way more of the pullback going on. We don't know exactly how deep it can go. Yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tick the little bell to always get notified. Let me know what you want me to look at in terms of altcoins and Ecomi and Veve in the next videos and streams to come out, and make sure to tune in, set the notification to tune in tomorrow to Crypto Morning Coffee. I will be here streaming almost every day. So here we go. Guys, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night.